Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sammy Ketchum, and welcome back to part two of the meta analysis for Pikarom. Um, I just uploaded part one, where um, where the part one, but the other part cut off on me. So we're doing a part two, and where I left off was I was talking about the Mew Mew matchup for Pikarom. And where I left off was is that but yeah, if Mew Mew has another attacker, has another Mew Mew on the bench that's that has like maybe like one or two energies on it, it doesn't really need much to get going for the next turn. You know, to hit a welder, they got 4 or 5 energies. Welder, they have 4 or 5 energies. Welder and then energy for the turn. So that's where I was going. But it's really a hard matchup for Pikarom, but Pikarom could still possibly win. But it's pretty hard. The next matchup I want to talk about. Um, what's another bad matchup? Because I said I was going to go over bad matchups first in the other video. So let's see. We're going to talk about Talk about Mew Mew. Oh, Guardian. Guardian is a bad matchup for Pikarom. For the simple fact of the electric fairy charms, lightning fairy charms. They attach the lightning fairy charms to their tag teams, and their fairies can't be hit. Also, they play Power Plant. If they play Power Plant and the fairy charm at the same time, and you're not able to respond, you're not able to get out labs, if you're not able to you're not going to be able to attack, you're not going to be able to do anything. So that is very, very hard for the Pikarom player. You can attack with Zapdos, which is a thing. You can still paralyze them, but you won't be doing any damage. You can still full blitz, but you just won't do damage. But now the one thing you can do is play Lysander's Labs. But I have to say this. You have to be smart about how you play Lysander's Labs in Pikarom. You just don't want to sit there and go, and you just don't want to sit there and go, okay, first turn I play Labs, I'm safe. No, you don't do that. Because, this format is part of Stadium Wars. So you're going to have a Stadium War with your opponent. Just about every single deck in this format has a stadium that they can play, that they can basically use to knock out your stadium. So, what you want to do is you want to wait to the right time to play your Lysander's Labs. When they have out their Fairy Charm, when they have out their Power Plant, when they think they've got you locked down, you sit there, you go, okay, they think they got me. All right, I have a Labs waiting right here for them. Boom, I play the Labs. Not only do I bump off your stadium, now your Fairy Charm isn't effective at all. Now my Pokemon can attack, possibly knock you out, take 3 prizes. I'm moving forward with this game. That's the one thing Pikarom can do. Having Lysander's Labs in Pikarom actually makes the deck more favorable in Pikarom's favor. If you play 3 Labs, it basically almost kind of guarantees you to win. Because 3 Labs, you're, every time basically they're going to play a stadium, you basically knock it off. You have a very high chance of winning the game if you're basically, if you basically have access to your Lysander's Labs, pretty decently, pretty quickly. That's what it boils down to. It boils down to it boils down to Fairy Charms and Lysander's Labs. That's how that's how that matchup goes. Um, I would say Malamar could be a bad matchup because of Esper, because of non-GX Pokemon, because of them damaging you, putting damage on your Pokemon, and you're not being able to heal it off. Um, but really Esper. Esper is really big against Pikarom. Also, if they get enough damage on you and the game goes on long enough, they could basically use Deoxys and Espeon tag team to use the GX attack to basically do a whole bunch of damage to your bench and knock out a whole bunch of Pokemon at once. But I think that's very, very unlikely to happen for Pikarom. You're more likely to see Esper come down and try to snipe you. If you don't have down Mew. If you have Mew in your deck, if you have Mew on the field, then that matchup becomes a lot better for Pikarom. Other than that, I think Pikarom basically can take it. You get set up fast, you go full blitz. If they don't have out Mew, you can tag bolt. You know what I'm saying? Or if you custom catcher up the Mew, knock the Mew out, then go tag bolt. If you custom catcher up Malamars, you can knock off the Malamars and they won't have Pokemon to power up. That's another way you could basically win. Also, you reset stamp them and put them to a low hand and then knock out their Pokemon or knock out their Esper. That helps. So, it's not basically a bad matchup, but it's definitely winnable. It's definitely winnable. Now, Reshizard, I say Pikarom is favorable against Reshizard. It's favorable against this type of Reshizard. And the reason why I say it's favorable against Reshizard, I say it's favorable against all versions of Reshizard. It's favorable against Reshizard because what you could do is, let's say they go first. They go first, they welder, attach energy, pass turn. Alright, you get off full blitz, you attach to a choo-choo. Okay? Now, two things can happen. They could come back, they could go welder again, attach energy, get off their GX attack of Reshizard, and knock out your Pikarom. Or they can go Ninetales, discard 2 energies, bring up your Choo-Choo, knock out your Choo-Choo. Okay? Yeah. But they can knock out your Choo-Choo. Now, what you could do is, if they knock out your Pikarom, you have Choo-Choo, you could basically bring up Choo-Choo, attach energy, tag switch, whatever, electro power, GX attack, lightning ride. Alright? Now, if they leave your Pikarom and they take out your Choo-Choo, what you do is your next turn, you go electromagnetic radar, or if you have a second Choo-Choo in your hand, play the Choo-Choo from your hand, tag switch, energy for the turn, reset stamp, go up, and you paralyze their Reshizard. They're now at 3 or maybe even at 2 prizes or whatever. You reset stamp them, you put them in a bad spot. You know what I'm saying? They have to basically try to get, another welder, their resources again. They have to find a way to switch out their Pokemon. They need a lot to get going. But that reset stamp coming down, and then you being able to paralyze them with a second choo-choo, or either the choo-choo that they didn't knock out before, if they knocked out the Pikarom, you know, um, but that has to happen. Um, also, with the welder box, needs a lot of things to happen for their combos to go off. Turtonator needs a lot of energies on the field to basically get off its attack and to knock out a tag team. You need like 5 or 6 energies. Alright? They can get it off once. They can pretty much get it off once guaranteed. So they can guarantee knock out something with that. They've got Heatran, which can move energies around. They can basically knock out one with that. If they so choose, they could get that off. Alright? And then they also have Blacephalon. Blacephalon needs energies in the hand. So, I honestly say Blacephalon is a lot harder to do than the rest of them. Because Blacephalon needs a lot of pieces. You need Giant Hearth out to help you find energies. You also need Fiery Flants, to help find energies from the deck. You also need Fire Crystals to help you pull them from your discard pile to reuse them again. You can also use all that stuff to help Welder go off. For Turtonators, and also for Heatran to move energies around when it becomes active. So they need a lot of stuff to get going. If you reset stamp them, yeah, all those resources, all that stuff that goes out the window. If they only had one Pokemon with energies on it, or one like super thing powered up, and you basically got rid of it, knocked it out, they're only going to be able to attach basically up to 3 energies on their next turn with like a welder. So Turtonator's only doing maybe 150. Blacephalon's not really doing anything if they can't get enough energies in their hand. You know what I'm saying? So, if you basically get them in a spot where they can't really do anything, then, or can't do enough damage, then you basically win. And it is very easy for a Pikarom to basically get going fast, get full blitz, get energies on a choo-choo. You can do that. Also, most of the Welder Box decks that I know, they don't play Mew. So they're basically really in range of Tag Bolt. So they can get hurt back Tag Bolt pretty badly. Especially since they still play Dedennes. Dedennes are a target. Also, Vulpix is a big target. It's a big custom catcher target. Also, another thing is that a lot of Pikarom decks are now teching in Stealthy Hood to place on either their Pikachu or the Raichu on the bench, so that if they try to bring it up, they can't bring it up. If they can't bring it up, they can't capitalize on Ninetales' ability. Which means they have to go for the active Pikarom. They go for the active Pikarom, you're guaranteed to get Raichu off. You're guaranteed to get that GX attack off. They're playing right into it. There's literally nothing they can really do about it, because there's no way to remove the tools from your Pokemon in this format. Now, they can play a Lysander's Labs, but you don't want to play Lysander's Labs in Welder Box. You've got Giant Hearth. You've got Heat Factory. You've got all the fire stuff that you need for your combos to go off, and you need them. You can't just side in another stadium you know, just because, you know, you need the giant herb, you need heat factories, you need that stuff. Um, so yeah, I say Pikarom is favorable against Reshizard and Wildebox. Um, let's see, what's another matchup? Oh, another bad matchup is I would say Keldeo. Keldeo is a bad matchup, but Keldeo is not really good in the format right now. It's not really good in the format right now. Um, there's a lot of things that Keldeo can lose to, especially the new Welder box or Ability No Zord or whatever they call it. Yeah, Welder is not. I mean, not Welder, but Keldeo is not really that good right now. Even though Pikarom loses to Keldeo. Um, let's see. Pidgeotto Control, Pikarom can basically beat Pidgeotto Control. You know, you've got Zapdos, you've got Tagbolt, you know, you've got a lot of things that you could do. You can get around their stall tactic. Um, their Behem, you can get around that. Well, not the attack, but when they go Behem, switch into the little what is it, the Gudra or whatever, the Gumi. When they switch to the Gumi, we have to attach more energies. Pikarom can get around that. Um, you know, so but yeah, but Pidgeotto control is not really that good right now. Star decks really aren't that good right now. Um, what other deck I haven't named? Blacephalon. Pikarom can beat Blacephalon. You know, you've got Tagbolt. We can Tagbolt them. Um, even if they get off the Beast Ring, even if they go the Beast Ring turn, what you can do against Blacephalon is if they knocked out your Pikarom, of course, you can go, um, Reset Stamp. You go Reset Stamp, and then you either knock out their active Blacephalon, or you custom catcher up their other one on the bench that has energies on it, or the other Pokemon on the bench that has the most energies on it. Anything that has the most energies on it, you custom catcher up, knock it out. The reason why I say this is because they use those energies to basically fuel their mind blown attack to basically try to kill you. If you knock out their Pokemon with the energies on it, you custom catcher it up, you know, and you get that out the way. The only thing they'll be able to do is welder for 3 energies, and 3 energies is not going to be enough to knock out your other tag team. They can't finish the game. So, you know, yet again, here it is again, Reset Stamp is basically important in basically winning against Blacephalon. You know, and I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here talking like Reset Stamp is easy to get. In this deck, it is easy to get because you can find Reset Stamp with Volkner. You know, you play 4 Volkners, you're going to see it basically just about all the time. Sit there, you play Volkner, Volkner for Reset Stamp, boom, you got it. You put their hand at 3, 2 cards. Or maybe even 1 prize. 1 prize, 1 card. You know? Yeah, they're literally trying to top deck out of it. You know? So, I mean, Reset Stamp is that good for Pikarom. You know, it really sets your opponent back. You know? And you have an easy way to find it. Now, if you need another piece, let's say you need a custom catcher and you have one in your hand, use Volkner to find a custom catcher. But what if you don't have the Reset Stamp? You have Jirachis. So at this point in the game, this is like mid to late game. You know, this is after they Beast Ring. This is your turn. Your deck is pretty low. You send out Jirachi, Stellar Wish. Your deck is pretty low. You look at 5 cards, you're pretty much going to get it. Pretty much going to hit that reset stamp in the deck. You hit the reset stamp. Use Volkner for the second custom catcher. You custom catcher up the thing with the energies. It's either going to be Persephone or the Dragon the Ganadel or what have you. You knock it out, you get 2 more prizes. You're now at 2 prizes. They're out of Beast Ring turn, and the only thing they have is Welder. They're as good as dead. Alright, what's another matchup that I have not covered? Persephone, talked about Malamar, talked about Mew Mew, talked about Reshizard. Oh, the mirror match. The mirror match is basically brutal. The mirror match can go either way. It also depends on what type of build of Pikarom you're playing against. If you're playing against the Judge version, the regular version will always beat the Judge version because if the Judge version is trying to basically disrupt the regular Pikarom's hand, you really can't do it. Because Pikarom is literally the most consistent deck in the format as of right now. You know, the Judge player puts the other Pikarom player to 4 cards. You know, you still have cards like Electromagnetic Radar to find a Dene. You can still draw into Volkner. You can draw into Cynthia. You know, you have access to Jirachi that could find you things. You know what I'm saying? There's just a number of things the other Pikarom player can do to basically just get out of the Judge. So Judge basically does nothing in the mirror match. So yeah, any other build that isn't Judge that plays against the Judge build is going to win against the Judge. If it's labs versus plants, it depends on how the game goes. It depends on how the game goes. It depends on who gets their attacks off first. You know, because the game could go either way. Because the decks are basically built the same, except one just has one just has plants, one has plants, one has labs. You know, I mean, basically the mirror match is really 50-50. You know, so yeah. But yeah. What other matchups have I not talked about? Talked about Guardian. Oh, Green's Reshizard. Now, I would say Pikarom does basically lose against Green's Reshizard. It has a hard time with Green's Reshizard because they can heal. You know, also they could get out of the paralysis. But the Greens builds basically lose the reset stamp. You know, the Greens build actually has a hard time versus the Judge variant. You know, so but the Greens Reshizard right now is not that good right now. You may still see it in Atlantic City Regionals. You know, I've heard that it actually does really well in a best of 3 situation. So you may see Greens art. But I mean, if that's the case, you play into the reset stamp, you reset stamp them, and then you basically go in on them. You know. So but yeah, Green's Reshi's art is pretty much a bad matchup for Pikarom. But you have reset stamp. You have ways that you can deal with it as well. But yeah, any other matchups that I could basically go over? Any other things that I want to talk about? I think that's it. I think that's pretty much it. I guess if there's anything that I haven't covered, you can like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you want to guys talk about before you guys play in the events this week, which actually kicks off tomorrow. Friday is like the pre-day. Saturday is basically the tournament. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, let me know. Um, you know, I'm glad. You know, I'm happy to talk about decks, different decks, text formats, matchups, anything. So let me know what you guys think. Um, and as always, make sure you take care of yourself and each other. Thank you.